Eric Hennan, who's the owner of the Signs Now franchise here in Perrysburg, Ohio. Eric, thanks for having us.
Not a problem.
It's always good to talk to you, and it's cool to be around a place that's as creative as this, because I mean, I just love this stuff. I don't know what you're doing with half of it, but I just know what the results are, and they're fantastic.
Sometimes we don't know either, but we make it the end product.
Real quickly, give me like a 30-second on Signs Now as a franchise and how long you've been in the business, and then we'll get into some questions.
I've been in business since November 1st of '93. I started as another company, independent, and then about a year and a half ago, joined up with the Signs Now franchise group. Which total companies is over 600 franchises. The last year and a half has been great. It's been a great move for us to be part of Signs Now.
Well, I've been able to watch your progress through this from your old business to the new business, and it's been impressive. So I know it's been a good thing for you and your business and for your customers. So what we're going to talk about, and what this issue of this fourth issue of Metro Marketer magazine is really about, is kind of about the science of signs. And you know, search engine optimization is a big term in the digital marketing area, but really what you do as a sign maker and as a sign marketer, I don't know what else you would call yourself, but you're working with a different search engine. It's just you're working with the people that are walking up and down the street, driving up and down the street, instead of sitting in front of a computer. And businesses coming to you about signs, what's the single most important question they should ask you as the sign maker?
Probably the first thing to think about is who's the audience, or what's the message you're trying to get out. Are you aiming towards a highway where everybody's driving 70 miles an hour, or are they walking down a sidewalk looking at your windows at a cafe? So, you know, you got to identify who your audience is.
How many business owners make the mistake of not doing that? They just want a pretty sign. Because that's what I see a lot of, like on the digital end, you know, when you're doing website design, that kind of thing, people just, they want something that looks pretty. It won't necessarily be effective, but when they open it up and they think, wow, that looks really cool, and I think people probably make that mistake with signs too.
It happens with some of the vehicle wraps. You'll see a real cool looking wrap go down the road, and you sit there and go, is that a bathing suit shop or a pool place, or what is that place?
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, having a clear message is probably part of it.
3 common mistakes that businesses make when they go to you as a sign maker. What would they be, and how do you get them to not make those mistakes?
Just keep it simple. A lot of people want to put so much information on their sign. They really just need to identify who they are, how to get a hold of them, and what they do, or who they are, what they do, and how do I find you. A good design would be another thing that I guess it kind of, I don't know if there's any real identifiers, but sometimes a customer wants to be the artist. And it's better for us if give us a few ideas to work with, and then let us put some things together that make sense compared to other businesses we've done like that, or you know, is it going towards a highway, or is it on your vehicle? And we kind of cater towards that versus them going, we want all this on the sign. Just needs to get the people to you.
It's about the message, right? But you can only have one message. I mean, is that kind of the limit, really, or can you do more?
I suppose you could have one main message, and then you can always, you know, a lot of restaurants that have their logo up top and what they are, and then you can have different messages on the windows.
Yeah.
As long as it's done right, it doesn't blur. But the main thing is when a customer or a client is looking for you or trying to see what you do, you don't want them to have to sit there and go, what am I looking at?
Do you talk to your customers about a call to action? You know, do you want somebody to do a specific thing? You want them to call your phone number or go to your website, or do you try to keep them to one, or I guess keep the number of those choices down, or is it something that just comes out because of the size of a sign?
It kind of depends. I mean, you don't necessarily put your phone number up on the marquee of your store. You know, that probably would be the logo or your name, and then maybe on a door you would have the website, phone number, hours, some of that information. Again, you want to draw people in from wherever they're coming from, and then have them seek out the information, and that's where the call to action would be, maybe on another spot, not necessarily all on one sign.
Our target market with our magazine, Metro Marketer magazine, is small local businesses primarily, and you know, we know a lot of those people. They're almost always on a limited budget. They have lots of things to do and only a certain number of funds. What are a couple of innovative things that you can do as a business, say locally, with signage that doesn't cost a fortune, but you found over the years is really effective?
As far as being cost effective, I mean, the sign, really any sign out there works 24/7. So So even if it seems expensive, if you put it towards against a newspaper ad or any kind of other typical marketing, it's inexpensive. Even if it's a $5,000 vehicle wrap, if that lasts over 5 years, you got under $100 a month.
Yeah, and the cost per exposure is really,
I mean, the budget
really
is there.
low,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, the budget is there, but you got to look at a bigger picture of, you know,
you're driving a wrap around town all the time, especially if your vehicle's out there and you're getting thousands of views every day. And if you divide those views into the cost of the wrap, it's really very cost effective, I would think. When I see signage out there, I mean, I've seen some signs that have been around for a long time. Sometimes it's a good thing, you know, it's an iconic sign, and the age of it actually helps with the identity of the business. But sometimes they just look old. Okay, and they look worn out, and I think it downgrades the message.
Oh yeah.
So is there a flip side to that? Should people maybe use more disposable stuff so it forces them to change?
Just give me all their name and number, and we go out there and work on those.
Yeah, we'll work on that. That's what this is about.
I think you want to use good materials. You want your sign to look as good as it can look for as long as it can look.
Okay.
As far as changing your message, I mean, if you have a good logo and a good solid business, you probably don't want to change that because people recognize that.
Yeah, consistency.
But now if you have a worn out looking sign, that reflects directly on your business of, is this a worn out and old business that's not up to date? They might find you online or in an ad, and then the next thing they do is look for you, and they see the sign kind of falling apart and looking aged.
Yeah, it's a turnoff.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to help.
Yeah. In marketing, we're all about tracking, tracking results. You don't want to just throw money at the wall and hopefully it's working. And there are a lot of businesses that don't lend, a lot of advertising and marketing type venues that don't lend themselves to tracking. To me, radio was one of those. I mean, I sold radio advertising for a while, and it's almost impossible to track it. And so what happens is the advertising salesman ends up lying about the effectiveness of their advertising. It really happens. Is there a way that you can tell one of your customers how they can track the effectiveness of signs?
If they found you, they obviously saw your sign.
Just ask.
Possibly.
Ask,
I mean,
how'd you
asking,
find us? Yeah.
Was it the radio ad? Was it the sign? I mean, if people are calling you up and saying, "Where are you? I can't find you," then there's obviously a problem there. You're not clear to
you're not
the public.
Can't find you.
And
okay, I didn't ask you this question, so this one's kind of going to maybe blindside you a little bit. New technologies in signage that have come along in the last. You've been in business for 20 years, right?
Yeah,
or close to 20
1st.
years. What's new? I mean, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's new. I know, like these stand-up banners that you displayed for us in the past, and we'll get pictures of them for the magazine. But those are for trade shows and that kind of thing. But portable signage that you can take with you wherever, right?
I mean, you can pack up a trade show display that's 2 by 2 by 4, and it can pull out to a 8 foot by 20 foot full display. 20 years ago, November 1st, there's still people out there hand painting.
Sure.
That was kind of, in the late 80s, early 90s was when the cut vinyl graphics came out. And that's where a lot of the places came up with, signs now, because it doesn't take 2 weeks to get a sign.
Right.
It can take 2 days, which kind of helps or hurts us. But
well, the vehicle wraps are new. You used to have to have a sign painter paint a truck.
You didn't do the vehicle wraps the way they are now. I mean, doing a full color print of anything you want. Not just on vehicle wraps, but that's just on signage, like the pop-ups, that's all one big print.
Yeah.
You get it in white, and what comes out the other side is whatever you can think up. So, I mean, it really opens up what we can do to a banner or a vehicle or a sign.
Okay, so what people need to do if they're interested in signage, they need to get a hold of a Signs Now franchise or franchisee, preferably the one in Perrysburg. Yeah, and we'll have all that contact information up in the magazine and on our website as well. So thanks, Eric, for having us here today, and we'll take some more pictures. And he's Eric Hennan with Signs Now Perrysburg. This is Metro Marketer Magazine.